What's up, Urban Acolyte family? My name is Prince, and I'm an Urban Acolyte, and in this episode of Star Wars Chats, I'm going to give my thoughts on the latest episode of Star Wars Rebels, and that was the Season 3 episode called The Legacy of Mandalore. So in this episode, Sabine Wren returns home to her home planet to reunite with her family, and this is something that we've all been anticipating ever since the Trials of the Darksaber episode, where she trained with the Darksaber, and Finn Rao basically put it up to her that she is to learn to use this weapon, which is a symbol of the true leader of Mandalore, to go home to try to recruit Clan Wren under her cause, so that she can become the leader of Mandalore and sever their ties to the Empire. Well, first of all, we got introduced to her mother, who is Countess Ursa Wren, and we learned that Sabine's family is they're one of the ruling houses of Mandalore, right? So she's basically like royalty. Like, think of Duchess Satine Kryze, who at one time was the ruler on Mandalore, right? You've got these ruling houses of Mandalore, right? You've got House Vizsla, Clan Wren is a member of House Vizsla, and we learned that Tar Vizsla was the first Jedi the first Mandalorian Jedi, and apparently Mandalore has always had the title of Mandalore has always had ties to House Vizsla, and Clan Wren falls under that house, meaning someone from Clan Wren could rise to become Mandalore. We also learn that Sabine's father, we don't know his name yet, but he is basically I can't think of the proper term, but he's like under house arrest, like some kind of, I want to say, the word that's coming into my head is like, in political asylum or something, but that's usually when you're like under protection. He is basically, like I said, under house arrest on Mandalore, and, they're kind of using him to twist, Countess Ursa Wren into doing whatever Finn Rao wants her to do, because there's always a threat that he could be killed, right? So we learned that in this episode. We're also immediately introduced to Sabine's brother, who is Tristan Wren, right? Now, something that I found interesting, when you look at the end credits, Tristan Wren is played by Ritesh Rajan. Ursa Wren is played by Sharmila Devar. And we know that Tia Sarkar plays Sabine Wren. And I just thought it was interesting that you have Indian Americans playing the members of House Wren. So basically the people who are the same nationality as, I was about to call her Sabine, as Tia Sarkar, play her family members. And so I guess what I'm trying to say is, I think it's interesting that everyone that we've seen so far in Clan Wren is a person of color. If you get what I'm saying, where I'm going with that, right? But most of the Mandalorians we've seen, basically they've been white people, right? So I think it's cool that you've introduced that there are other kinds of Mandalorians. And then, well, no, because I forgot about Boba, right? Boba and his dad, they were what, Polynesians, New Zealanders, Islanders is what my friends down under will call them. So we've got this contrast. So you've got white people Mandalorians, and you've got tan people Mandalorians. I wonder if we'll ever see any black people Mandalorians. All right. But anyway, let me get back to what I was saying. All right. So we learned that Sabine is wanted by the Empire for her defection, becoming a rebel. But she's also not trusted on Mandalore because of the weapon that she built for the Empire that was used against the Mandalorians. So it's like, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Either way, she is a fugitive and not trusted. We also learned that the other clans want to destroy Clan Wren, and Sabine's family has lost all of their status after Sabine left and defected to become a rebel. Tristan, her brother, became a super commando under Gar Saxon because the family needs his protection, right? So it's basically like he's got to whore himself out to Gar Saxon for the good of his family, to save his father, to maintain their status, to protect the entire family, right? And it appears that every Mandalorian that we saw on the moon wearing the colors of Clan Wren, those are all Sabine's family. So it's a clan. It's basically a big tribe, right? The Mandalorians are tribal in nature, and I think that's pretty cool, right? Now, something else that we learn is Tristan refers to Gar Saxon as the Emperor's Hand, and that is a term that we've heard in legends, right? The Emperor's Hand. Mara Jade is one of the Emperor's hands. These were force-sensitive assassins, people who carried out covert missions. But anyway, getting back to this, what does this title, what does Emperor's Hand mean here? So I'm guessing that's some kind of political position. That is a political title, right? Gar Saxon is the hand of the Emperor. He represents the Emperor's interests on Mandalore, and as the Viceroy of Mandalore and the leader of the Imperial Super Commandos, he carries out the will of the Emperor on Mandalore. That's what I'm guessing. But what do you guys think? What do you think this title, Emperor's Hand, means here? All right. So another thing, like I said, Star Wars mimics life. We've got this issue of fake news, right? When Sabine is speaking with her mother about the role of the Protectors and Finn Rao, Ursa tells Sabine that the Protectors were executed for treason, according to Ursa Wren. That's what she says, and she's probably getting that information from Gar Saxon. Gar Saxon's forces wiped out the Protectors on Concord Dawn. Now, I went to Wikipedia in case you don't know the role of the Protectors, and it said the Journeyman Protectors, also known as the Mandalorian Protectors, or simply the Protectors, were an ancient group of Mandalorians who served the ruler of Mandalore. When the Galactic Empire claimed control of Mandalore, the Protectors established a base on the third moon of Concord Dawn. 2 years before the Battle of Yavin, the Imperial Viceroy of Mandalore, Gar Saxon, discovered the Protectors were allowing rebel ships to travel through the Concord Dawn system in order to avoid Imperial sector patrols. In an attempt to lure Finn Rao back, Saxon and his Imperial Super Commandos attacked the Protectors' encampment and wiped them out. All of them. So the Protectors, an ancient group of Mandalorians who served the ruler of Mandalore, right? So recall back to the Concord Dawn episode when Sabine introduced herself to the Protectors, and she says she's from Clan Wren House Vizsla, and they say Death Watch, and they call her a traitor, and she's like, well, my mother went that route, but I had a difference of opinion, right? So the Death Watch was loyal to Maul, and then they were under Gar Saxon, loyal to Gar Saxon, right? Part of Death Watch broke off because they weren't, and that was Satine cries. I'm sorry, she died. Bo-Katan cries, and her Night Owls broke off. And I'm guessing that these Protectors broke off with Bo-Katan. And I'm mentioning, I've said her name twice here, and there's a reason. It's coming in a few minutes when I get to my end question, right? So, I'm guessing that they broke off, and they obviously did not support, they weren't in favor of Gar Saxon and the Imperial occupation. They were waiting. They're like a force, a group lying and waiting for the true ruler of Mandalore to emerge, the next Mandalore, right? And that kind of ties in the thing. My thoughts, possible thoughts on the Knights of Ren if they have any connection to Mandalore, but I'll hold off on that. That might be a conversation that I have with Geekdom 101 if we decide to do another video following the aftermath of these events in Rebels. So check out Geekdom's channel for that. Getting back to this, so we learn that Gar Saxon intended all along to destroy Clan Wren. He wanted to take Sabine back to Mandalore to finish whatever this weapon is, this project that she started. And I started asking myself, going all the way back to the Trials of Darksaber episode, well, what did she start and what is this weapon? And I'm starting to think that Project Black Saber is the weapon that Sabine created. I think that we heard about in Rogue One. I think that Sabine was the mastermind behind that, right? Which means that she is, like Dave Filoni said, when you learn her past and you learn what she's connected to, it's big, right? Sabine Wren is a big character, right? I think that she is the mastermind behind Project Black Saber, that everyone was like, what? And we heard that in Rogue One. We'll have to wait and find out for that. But I totally believe we're going to find out about that in a future episode of Rebels. You heard it predicted here, folks. Complete speculation, but I'm feeling it, man. And lately my Jedi senses, not to talk too much about my personal life, but my Jedi senses have been going crazy. The Egyptian has something to do with it. She's not my girlfriend or anything, but she's got the Jedi senses going. And so shout outs to the Egyptian for that. Anyway, Sabine has her big showdown with Gar Saxon. Lightsaber versus Darksaber, Mandalorian versus Mandalorian, combat, fight to the death for the position of ruler of Mandalore, right? And Sabine's fight with Saxon is very reminiscent of Anakin's fight with Count Dooku in episode 3. It's so reminiscent all the way down to Anakin did that move and took both of Dooku's hands and took his lightsaber. Sabine managed, I don't know if she literally disarmed him or if she just managed to give him a nice little cut to sever a tendon or something so that he let go of the Darksaber. And, but she took his weapon and she had the choice to behead him. And she chooses to spare him. And I wanted to say that this is how the Force works. It all comes down to intent and individual choice. Sabine could have chosen to execute Gar Saxon, which might be considered a path to the dark side, like in the case of Anakin. But Sabine's intentions could have been good if she chose to execute Saxon. To literally remove the Emperor's hand from controlling Mandalore by killing him could have been a good action. Even though we think of killing and death as something to the dark side, it's really not. Because when you think about what Anakin did to Dooku, he killed him. He murdered him. He said it's not the Jedi way, but it's like, well, what did Mace Windu say when he was going to execute Palpatine? He's too dangerous to live. He's too dangerous to go stand trial because he controls, I am the Senate. He controls the Senate and the court and everything else, right? Count Dooku could have found a way out, right? Because, it's like, well, Palpatine still got a plan at work and he might have said, you know what? I can't, if I let him go to trial, he could, cave, the Jedi could crack him and he could squeal about everything, right? Have Anakin kill him and then let me use, I can sense the state of dis-ease that you are in and use that to further twist and corrupt you, right? So, these different actions, the intentions behind an action are important. And that's what determines if someone is going to the dark side, the light side, whatever. It's not as crystal clear as some people want to make it to be. And that's kind of my teaching on the Force from this episode, even though there wasn't a lot of Force stuff going on outside of the Jedi being included. But what do you guys think? Do you think that Sabine should have executed Gar Saxon? Also, we come to the end, and this is what has created, the buzz about this episode, is Sabine chooses to stay on Mandalore and help lead the Mandalorian Civil War. She says that she's not the leader of Mandalore, but it will be her task to find the next leader. And this episode ends with a lot of questions to be asked, a lot of answers that we're seeking. Sabine has effectively left her surrogate family aboard the Ghost ship to help her real family And is this the last that we will see of Sabine Wren? And I don't think it is. And recall the name that I've said numerous times in this video. Bo-Katan cries. Bo-Katan cries. Bo-Katan cries. I reported back in the fall that Katie Sackhoff, who voices Bo-Katan cries, has recorded dialogue for season 3. Bo-Katan cries will be involved at some point in what's going on Mandalore and possibly what's going to happen with the Rebels. I think that come the season finale, I think that first off, this Mandalorian Civil War, all of this stuff, this Mandalorian arc, I said it before, I don't think it's going to be resolved. What was resolved is Sabine is going to stay on with her family. She's going to work things out. They are going to find who should possess the Darksaber, who should become the ruler of the rightful ruler of Mandalore. And to do that, they've got to oust the Empire. So, begun the Mandalorian Civil War has, right? Begun the Clone Wars have. Begun the war for Mandalore's freedom has, right? With this episode. And think about the original saga. We are 2 years out from the events in Rogue One, from Luke Skywalker blowing up the Death Star, beginning his path into a deeper world, a bigger galaxy, whatever Obi-Wan said. And we hear nothing about Mandalore. What is going on? So maybe there is another, and we know this from books like Twilight Galaxy, or what is it? Twilight Company, Lost Stars. There are wars, there are battles being waged on other fronts. There are other Imperial fleets scattered throughout the galaxy. So it even presents the possibility that Thrawn could make it out of Rebels, and maybe he took a major L, obviously, because he doesn't destroy a Phoenix Squadron. I think they get absorbed in the Green Squadron. And that may be because Phoenix Squadron has always had ties to Sabine. Sabine leaves Phoenix Squadron, and maybe they say, we don't want to be called Phoenix Squadron anymore. That's what's going on with Sabine. Or Phoenix Squadron still exists, and they're participating in this Mandalorian Civil War. This other battle that's being waged, this other part of the war that's being waged on another front, another part of the galaxy. Just like when we get to Aftermath and we hear about all these other skirmishes going on in other parts of the galaxy before what we're going to learn about come midnight tonight. Of course, I got to go to work in the morning, so it'll be a while before I get a chance to start to dig into Empire's End. But they all get consolidated, get called to Jakku for the Empire's last stand, right? But my point is, we don't know what's going on Mandalore for the next 5 years, the next 30 years. Sabine could be there. Ezra could be there. The Ghost Crew could be there helping Sabine, restoring Mandalore. We'll have to wait and see. This video ran, as long as most of my other Star Wars chats. And I guess that's okay, because this is Star Wars chats where we talk and discuss and have a dialogue. But I want to hear from all of you. Do you think that this is the last that we will see of Sabine Wren? I don't think it is. I don't think it is. I think that Sabine, Bo-Katan cries, Finn Rao, they're going to play a part in the season finale of Star Wars Rebels. I think that Ezra is going to call them back to help them escape from Atollon, when Thrawn comes a-coming. And maybe they might take Thrawn down. I think that they're going to still be dealing with Thrawn in season 4. And you know what's crazy is in a month from now, we're going to be standing here having conversations about the season finale of Star Wars Rebels season 3. So I'm looking forward to digging in deeper. The rest of these episodes are going to really deal with them going up head to head with Thrawn, that confrontation. And we're just going to let things continue to build. And then come April, we'll possibly be getting some teases about season 4 Star Wars Rebels. So can't wait to have more Star Wars chats with you guys. I don't know. My brain is actually like thinking about my next video because I can see it here in my notes. I'll tease it to you. It's something that popped up on Reddit about Snoke is like this Force god or something. So I'm like really excited to do that video now. And so let me wrap this one up so I can go ahead and record that one and get it out to you as quickly as I can after this one posts. So keep checking back for the channel because for some reason YouTube loves when I do Snoke theories. I actually don't think this one sucks. I think it's interesting. I don't know if it'll happen or not, but it sounds pretty interesting. This person was creative, right? So stay tuned for that. And let me know your thoughts down below. Your thoughts on this episode, on the future of the Sabine Wren character and the future of the Ghost crew. Of course, we know that they're going to be in Rogue One, so we know they make it through at least the next 2 years. What comes after that, we'll have to wait and see. But let me know your thoughts down below, and I'll be checking back to see what you guys have to say. So if you haven't subscribed already, go ahead, click on that subscribe button, and take your first steps towards becoming an urban acolyte. Use your love for Star Wars to help you begin to make changes in your life, to help you live more like a Jedi, and to help improve the lives of the people in your community around you. Continue to support the channel. You can do that by supporting the store on TeePublic, getting you one of these Remember to Breathe shirts, and continue to check out more videos on this channel like that awesome Snoke video I'm getting ready to record. Anyway, that's all I've got for now. Y'all keep on breathing, and may the force of others be with you always.